So hello and welcome to the Donny Chaingang with me, Matt Payne. We are going to be here all the way through December. Doesn't matter what time of year it is. The Donny Chaingang rolls, except for in the summer when it's nice and shiny, sunshiny, and it's great weather outside, and nobody wants to ride the Chaingang apart from the keen, committed, or absolute lunatics, which pretty much sums up all of us, let's face it, who ride a bike. It is December. It is the second ride technically within the 1080 month of December. It's always December. It's always Christmas at 1080 with amazing discounts for members of the DCG gang, the Donny Chaingang Supporters Club. Number of people are joining. Quick reminder, you aren't in the draws if you don't join as a DCG gang member. It's a way that we can say thank you to make sure that our riders get a thank you from us, Russ, myself, and all of the team behind the scenes making the Chaingang happen, as well, of course, as covering all of our costs. And basically, that's what it does. It doesn't make any money. Basically, it just keeps us on the road, and that's what we want because we want to keep everybody out there. So if you can donate, join for a month or join to the end of the season, please do so. Don't forget, of course, that we have got that on at the moment, and at the moment it's December. I mean, a big thank you to Gritty. They covered us last month, and to Halo Wheels in October, and of course to OTE in September. And we've got lots more great stuff coming up in all the way to April, but without the support of the DCG gang and the Donny Chaingang Supporters Club, it just ain't going to happen. Now, tonight for the Eagle-Eyed amongst you, you'll notice that Jimmy Allen is our yellow beacon tonight. Russ is off down south, peddling his wares, as Jimmy would say. So he's wheeling and dealing, and it means that we are on our new route, Boardwalks and Bridges, with Jimmy. It's a 1.9k lead in 6 laps, so I'm hoping Matt Nunn is here to do some countdowns. Absolutely key will be to remember we finish at 39.7k. And Jimmy, of course, the Wolf, known for his unpredictability on a brand new course that could be very entertaining indeed. Our red beacon is Rich Langmead. Rich, of course, no stranger to riding on this course as well as many others because he's a really experienced rider. And he does look like this in real life as well as his avatar. Now, let's show you what this looks like because it's not flat by any stretch of the imagination. Remember, of course, that this is a short course, 6.4k. So that loop is shown here on the Velo Viewer profile is going to keep you very, very much on your toes as you head out from the pens. Our riders due to head out very shortly indeed, but as you can see, once we get onto the circuit, we have the bridge across from right to left where our start is. We then go out and we steadily climb to the 3.75k point, and then we head off down the far side and down into the distance. So I'm not sure that this route is even close to flat, to be brutally honest. But let's have a look and see how our riders are doing. It looks like they're up and running. So let's go join them here with me, Matt Payne, on the Donny Chaingang for Tuesday. Don't forget, of course, all week we have got our rides heading out. And we are going to have our riders on the Wow DCG. Tomorrow they're going to Greater London Flat. And, of course, going to be heading out across to the wonders of some more interesting and entertaining routes with Russ. So very, very interesting to see how they roll on the way through. I'm going to see just how everybody rolls. It looks like most people on the road. Mr. Clayton, the last man heading out from the pens, isn't he waiting for? Let's face it. Let's make him work really hard. So, on the new island, we are on the new courses, and of course, heading out around this fantastic world of Zwift once again. So, you can just see in the distance Mount Fuji. The link roads are going to be covered. We're basically back across here on Thursday, covering every road apart from the link roads to Nyokyo and Mercury Islands. Looks like McKenna with a dropout. If you do get a dropout, guys, make sure that you jump out and jump back in again. Number of people getting dropouts. That is pretty key to make sure if you are getting a dropout, what you do is you jump out and jump back in again. It looks like Mr. Woodall and Mr. Langmead just pushing the way back in again. Don't wait for Mr. Clayton. He's on his way. He's not going to need much assistance, is he? Let's face it. Here he comes. So Jimmy in charge of the gang with the yellow beacon, Rich red beacon, making sure everybody rolls in. Very Bond-esque, this part of the islands. I really like the new graphics and new shapes that are here. Really does change up the whole Mercury Island area as our red beacon. Just pulling the riders in. Rich Woodall and Rich Langmead are going to be pushing on here. So Richard's our red beacon, going to just get himself tucked in. You can just see top right-hand side of the map that the riders heading in have got the turns, the twists and turns. This is the run in towards our bridgeway, just nearly done, dusted. So if we zoom our map across, you can see we're going to go left and then in over the bridge. Big chase, that says Mr. Clayton. Tough. Should fit a word. He's more than capable of keeping it up all the way through. So in with Rich Langmead, just watching everybody at the moment, just hanging on, I think. If we get our helicopter up in the air, you can just see at the moment our red beacon about to make contact with the back of the group here today. So to all this month, we are looking at the logos, the 1080 and the Oakley logos, rotating in and out. 1080, the premier place to buy your Oakleys, the only place to buy your Oakleys if you're on DCG Gang, let's face it, because you get extra discount on top of the already discounted prices. It's basically the best place to buy them, with great advice from Ian Taylor and gang. Ian working 6 days a week. He's not been on bike for basically 3 months, and the reason for that is super busy, both with home and work. So really is key that everybody supports people who support the gang, because without it, without the Donny Chaingang members, it's quite simple. We will stop doing the gang. It's real simple. The finish is the end of the boardwalk sprint. That would be that one each time. So each lap, end of the boardwalk sprint, is the end of the section. It is super flat today, honest gov. You can see the roadway coming up round the back on the other side. It's not hilly by any stretch of the imagination. We have 6 laps to do. We're on 6 laps to go at the moment. There are another 6 full laps as we hit the line that time. And don't forget, of course, we've got lots more action coming up on the Donny Chaingang. Just going over the boardwalk at the moment. And a brand new route for the DCG for the Donny Chaingang. So Jimmy with the graphic busting super long name on the Chaingang, unlike Mr. House. Great to see the gang nicely tucked in and around our yellow beacon. The red just pushing to get back in. Harry Hudson and that looks like Kieran Brown just squeezing into the gang here. Mr. Langmead being smart there, using the steamroller amongst other people using that. But using the outlet on this, but ain't going to make no odds. Not that there's really much on this course. So the riders coming in and around. It's a 6.9k loop. And quick reminder, rule 1, stay off the front. Don't do it. Get off it. No need. Shouldn't be 2 groups. We're on the flat. Even I can keep the group in one piece by not riding off the front. Should be pretty straightforward, folks. 13 seconds from front to back at the moment on the gang. Let's hold it together, folks. It should be sheer simplicity today. Honest gov. So don't forget, lots of action coming up. We had a great weekend away. Apologies for not broadcasting on Thursday, but we were stood in a really icy cold field in Ipswich. Icy Ipswich is the title of the city that we were in, or should I say, on the outskirts of the icy city of Ipswich. It made Peel Park at Bradford seem warm, let's put it that way. 4 days of action and competition on the World's Masters Cyclocross Championships. Great to see lots of our riders on the way round, and as you can just see, just making their way up on to this little bit of a climb here. And be really interested to see how many meters of ascent they go through. So ice cream van. If only there was an ice cream van, my throat would not sound like this, as you can hear at the moment. it is really cold. And that is basically because it is super, 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 super gravelly because we've trashed the living daylights out of it. Gone to a live event, taken the techie. Techie's picked up COVID. Cheers, great. Do this online stuff every day. Don't get COVID for years. Go abroad, don't get COVID. Go to the first UK event, get COVID. All marks. Well done to my tech for managing to pick that up on the way through. And then we stood in the cold and talked for like 8 hours, 9 hours a day for 3 days straight of competition, which was really good. Good bit, of course, is amazing to see all of the people in real life and actually see all of our riders and, of course, see all of the new world champions crowned. Some really, really nice people getting world championship titles. It doesn't really get much better than that, I'll be brutally honest. And lots of people who are regulars on the gang out and riding as well, so interesting to see how they got on. Neil from Gritty was there as well. In fact, one of the highlights, definitely managing to grab a bite to eat and a coffee or three in the coffee shop with Neil and Caroline from Gritty on a little bit of a catch-up with that. And that was really a really good evening. Might also have hit the pub with Reg Bench as well, who's the spanner man for many famous riders over the course of cyclocross. That's a very good weekend, and a massive thank you to Steve Grimwood and all of the guys who put that racing on. It was cracking to be there, but of course it meant we didn't cover the Chaingang on Thursday. But we're back, we're here all the way through this week. I think potentially here Monday, Tuesday, might even be here on Thursday, you never know. Next week, and then we'll be coming from the European studios that we have, hopefully on the week after, and that then will be a little bit more of a straightforward week, honest gov, and then we're going to run right the way through Christmas. Members of the DCG gang know where we're going this week. We've got lots of great routes lined up. We have 3 giveaways coming up during the course of December for 3 sets of full custom Oakleys. Whatever Oakleys you want, Kato's, frog skins, the hemp frames, whatever you fancy. You can pick them, and you can pick whatever custom you want, whatever colour lenses you want, whatever colour, what writing you want on it. You can say, I love the DCG. 3 sets going out to members of the DCG gang. Really, really key. So, guys, make sure you join up and get signed up for that. So, the gang up at the top of that climb, 47 metres of climbing so far. 6 lots of 47 are definitely not 121 metres. We can't trust the facts that come in. It's always great once we've had a ride through. Going to be a tough old day today, I think, and that's going to be really interesting to see how everybody rides, because this is pretty new territory for a lot of riders. Mr. Oxenham, I quite agree with you, to be honest. It's a bit of a stinker. 59 metres, mate, for some. 53. Let's have a little look, go up towards the front. You can see 55. Oh, 17th, Mr. Grant. You must have just jumped on. Good to have you, mate. Thanks for joining. Yeah. You look at the Swift inside it, it don't look steep. It doesn't look tough, but everybody, I think, having just a little bit of a tough time today out on our course. Just in with Chris Canham. That's heart rate already up 153. It shows you just how tough this course is. We should have known it was a tough course. Do you know why? Russ is not here. He's away. He's off on work duties. So Russ takes some time off. Now, what are some of the other things we've got coming up? We have got, of course, the Chaingang running. Now, the first Chaingang after Christmas on the 27th. If all goes to plan, Russ isn't going to be here. In fact, I'm not going to be where I am now. I'm going to be on a bike. Emma's going to be on the mic, and I'm going to be on a bike. I'm going to be Yellow Beacon. So make sure you join up for the 27th when that link comes out. Going to be on a course that I absolutely hate, but I didn't pick it. Russ picked it for me. Thank you very much, Russ. It's at least somewhere which is pretty accurate to where I'll be actually riding and be in the same country. That gives you a clue where we're going to be going. We've also got, of course, Emma on the WOW DCG actually riding as Red Beacon in the gap in between. Then we're going to have Russ on the Thursday on the very last DCG of 2022. Going to be a very interesting little week, and really looking forward to seeing how that pans out. Thank you to everybody who stepped in as beacons on the WoW DCG. We were just short of a couple to get us into January. So, yeah, I am going to be on the bike. I'm going to be leading on the 27th of December. Better get fit and fast. I'm looking forward, actually, to my avatar now being the same weight as me, instead of being, like, much heavier, because I jumped on the other day on the bike and went, it's really hard work, and then I realised it was 12 kilos heavier than I actually am, which is the wrong way around. It was like anti-weight doping. Simon Wynn definitely not doing the album when I'm riding it. Although my fastest time up there is very quick, I was a heck of a lot fitter than I am now. So, here we go. Let's have a little look. Mr. Hepton. Mr. Watts from Veleviewer. Yeah, Mr. Williams, a heavier avatar. Actually, is anti-weight doping is a thing. So doing it the other way around, so having a heavier avatar is doable. Matt Nunn's guessing for cast parts. Maybe. Not going to tell you. That would be mean. Right, round on to the loop we go. And this, everybody's going to discover, is the descent not super smooth. I'm not thinking Mantis's plan is probably going to be liked by a lot of people. Now, one of the reasons that this route was chosen is quite simple, because it is a route that actually is really, really, really good for getting different power-ups on. There's a little bit of something for everybody. You can use your anvil, you can use an arrow, you can use a steamroller. In fact, the only one we don't bring on, and I refuse, point blank, to go and dodge everything. Now, heavier avatar is just sandbagging. Yeah, or just a screw-up. Matt Bird, maybe you heard it from a little bird, Matt. Maybe you did indeed. It wouldn't surprise me. Is that the same as cheating, Tom? Don't know. This is Donny Chaingang. We're all here to have fun. It's very difficult to cheat on the Chaingang, to be brutally honest. Because if you're going off the front, you're only just being a blonker, and we all take the mickey out of you. And if you stay at the back and you have a little laugh with your mates, and sometimes you're having a bad day, you need to do something about it, yeah, do you know what? Guess what? If racing down 1-2, yes. Racing down 1-2 is something I can only dream of. Downhill races. A bit like downhill segments on Strava. You can't actually find them. Right, Mr. McDermott in here. Nicely tucked in. Just having a little check through our riders. Ian Bale here, in good ride by Ian at the World Champs. Ted is here. Check Mr. Lynch in here, our Paralympian, joining us once again. There's that Eddie Dalglishie in here, Neil from the cross-country scene through, Persona G in as well. Great picture actually from Neil from Gritty from the crosscast. Get a check it out on the crosscast Neil Instagram feed, if I'm not much mistaken. Cracking picture of him in front of an Oakley shop, I think in Munich. But you don't have to go that far, because of course you can go onto the Norwich Tourist Trail, and that is has signposts apparently, so I've heard. I haven't actually seen them in real life, so it may not be true. For the one and only 1080 shop. So, one lap done, almost. We're about to hit the line. Hoping our man is going to be telling us exactly where we are. Is our official lap counter. Meanwhile, riders all looking good. Gangs together. Red Beacon's a little bit distant, not quite sure why. Might just be having a bit of a chinwag off the back. Official lap count was off the back, that's why. There we go, and Linley. It's a group of 3. Oh, little cannon there. Oh, look. Quite jumpy. I have just come out of having done some more voiceover for work for our regular Sunday clients, because we weren't able to go on the our usual broadcast that we do every Sunday, so nobody able to cover that, so we have been just doing a little bit of voiceover for the rewind for the highlight show. So just finished that just before jumping on this. Fortunately got all this done before. So it looks like a few bodies just starting to drop back, just a couple of breadcrumbs. Mr. Crapper doing a good job as well. Good to see you, Thomas. Hope you're keeping well. missed you at the cross because it was Old Gimmers Cross at the weekend. So I think a few people coming back. Matt Nunn asking for help as well. So let's take a look. Mr. Lindley in this group now. Taylor is pushing on like an absolute rocket. I think, Rich, you're going to have your work cut out, mate, because you've got another body coming in fast as well. May well needs assistance. So our last rider is going to be Mr. Taylor. Damien Clayton pulling out the racing excuses. Let's have a laugh. So here we go, Mr. Taylor. 7 seconds off the group. Let's see if he can get himself back on. He's coming at some serious pace, 3 watts per kilo. And I think it's going to be interesting to see if he can just make this last little bit of the catch. So Mr. Lindley and Mr. Dunn getting a little bit of assistance back on. Looks sort of like power cable fell out of the laptop. Don't let it do that, mate. That's no good. We always say hard wire. Absolutely everything in. Don't quite solder it in. Here we go. So that chase coming from Taylor at the moment. So looks like Rich just waiting for Dean, just to give him a little bit of assistance. I'm loving the number of people going back. Keith Richardson going back. Keith's going to be our red beacon on Thursday. Got a cracking picture of Keith, as always. Rich Langmead. Rich, you need to send me a better picture, mate. Something with you on the bike, generally smiling, face forward, portrait style. If you're a red beacon, dead handy, particularly if you're not all over Facebook. It's really, very, really handy. So Keith just on the back here. Dean just about to make contact with the back of the group. The group once again strung out. You can see long line on the way through at the moment. So our helicopter up over the top. It is a tough little circuit, this, and as we said earlier, should have known. Guess what? No surprises. Russ not here. Tough circuit, not done before. Catches everybody out. Mean, mean bear. Leaving the wolf to suffer. Blob up, and then press onwards. We blob up, then we press on. Is that football you see? No, definitely not. It's FB free zone. That's for sure. Come on, blobby, blobby, blobby. Do you know we might have to play Mr. Blobby theme tune if people don't blob up? That might have to be the new thing. I mean, we'll crash all of the copyrights as usual, but you know, who cares? Circuit's quite good though. Guess what? Get some reasonable pictures from our helicopter. Let's take a little bit of a look what we get from our drone. Currently up in the air. Let's see if we can crash it a couple of times. It's always good fun. Let's take it down. After our riders, they make their ascent. Nice lions. Very funky. Ever seen a lion look like that in real life? Seen a few lions in real life, but they don't look like that. Right. So, riders up on the way up. Wildlife down by the side. Bit like Doncaster, really. Wildlife running alongside you as you're on the bike, taking the mickey. As we go on to the climb. Bamboo all over the place. So let's get the screens back up again. We are currently 10k in so far. 20 minutes done of riding for most people. Particularly those who came in with the start. Good to see lots of our riggers on here as well. Mr. Robertson and Woodall just hovering around the back of the group. So Jimmy saying, okay, steady away now. No heroes, please. So Neil from the crosscast. Just dropping off the pace a little bit. You're right there, Neil. Just having a little look at that revs per minute. 110. I didn't realise these legs went round that quick. 112, 113, 114. I'm sure your sensor's working, mate. It's looking like Neil has a little bit of a tech issue. 120 revs per minute. Is he stuck in little chainring, do we think? Speculate on why Neil. Neil used the wrong Velaskin product in his shorts. Maybe. Maybe Neil's legs are suffering from having spent a weekend stood on his feet and then mucking about. So Neil getting a little bit of assistance here. Yeah, it could be the equivalent of soothing gel instead of chamois cream. Can be done. In the dark, particularly early morning bike rides. Bad news here, that's for sure. Just keeping a check on the riders. Mr. Robertson, nicely tucked in here. Continuing to push up. Can I be honest? Don't get the aero helmet thing. Never did. Not when you're not on a time trial. I mean, I know it looks pretty cool, like Darth Vader and all that sort of stuff, but it's not my... Don't float my boat, mate. Sorry, buddy. Definitely take the opportunity not to wear a helmet. So, trying to get back on up over the top. Some amazing views here, actually. Stunning views. So Jimmy just issuing the instructions for the trigger for that sprint open, etc. Please pay attention to your screens, guys. Jimmy capable of doing this and holding it all together. If you all play the game, if you're a Muppet, you'll find yourself not in the game, not playing, and you probably end up getting a phone call from me eventually. It does happen. We do review the footage. We do look at who does what. We do have other cameras following the front of the group so that we can always look back at it. A bit like VAR, but meaner, nastier, and with me on the other end of it being grumpy. Can you imagine? Not good news. Grumpy enough at the best of times. Who's your money on? Well, it'd be on Fat Cyclist, apart from he's probably not going to sprint, to be honest. Lindley. To the sprint. May well be Williams. We'll see. So Jimmy's going to be our non-sprinting 2.5 watts per kilo. TFC. Yeah, don't be offside on Matt's VAR. No, don't, because I'm a grumpy soul and I'm ready to ban people at the moment. I'm just feeling that way out. I'm just like tired. Right. Try and get stuff. Should we try and get stuff from? So this is the very front. It's easier said than done, to be honest, today. Scrolling up. Do you know what we can do? We can do this. Great way to try and keep track of who's where. Doesn't always work, but you know. Let's see. You got Jimmy on the game. Jimmy keeps everybody happy. Everybody likes a Jimmy lead, apart from those people who don't like it when he just goes long, which does happen. I think Russ has got the record though by going like some stupidly crazy like 23 AK out from the finish once. That was just mean. Does happen. Okay, so Dean took nicely in. Pack is rolling at a fair old pace on the way down this descent on the steeper side of the route. Let's have a little check. Put your specs on, ball. Contact lenses in my case works best when you're riding the bike. You've got to say, not particularly a fan of riding the bike this time of year. It's blinking horrible. Okay, Mr. Robertson, Mr. Langmead, our beacon, just starting to form a bus. Dale waiting in the pack. There we go. My money's on Dale on the basis he's sat on the back of your waiting to do a flyer through the middle of the group. That is where I reckon my money is going to be. So let's leave it on the top. I'm going to watch the numbers. Look at this. He's just sitting off, isn't he? He's just sitting there, just waiting, modulating, waiting there, getting that power just right. Here we go. So the sprint is open. waiting to see if these numbers come on. Just watch, you won't go for it now. Oh, here we go. Wind up his starting 5.9. Here we go, 6, 5.8. Now he's got the draft engaged. Watch how it's done, ladies and gentlemen. This is likely to be our sprint winner now up to 13.6. Here he goes. He's going to be making his way up near the front. He's got riders to catch on the way through. So Williams is coming. Question is, will he make it on time? Will he get the fastest time as he comes into the line? He comes flying in over the line. Does he get the fastest time? He does, 12.92. There you go. Today's masterclass in how to ride a sprint by the one and only Dale Williams. Mate, absolute legend. Couldn't have picked a better rider for that one. So, start at the back, off the back, work your way through the group with a draft and get out the front. Now, that would have been slightly different tactics if he'd have got an aero or similar. So, you want to know how to put a sprint down? That's how it's done. Watch it back. So, glass cranks on the front, please, ladies and gents. Let's get this show back together again. Regroup time. Regroup time. All back to yellow. So there you go. Group going to come back together again, hopefully. Famous last words. Dale Williams with a box of matches. Perils of being under pressure, having everyone else. So here we go. The group needing to ease on the front, please, ladies and gents. Doing an amazing job. Our yellow beacon is the aim for our riders. Please get yourselves back together once again. All riders, please return to your yellow beacon. All riders, please return to your yellow beacon. Have to be careful doing those claxons with my voice. Won't have any left tomorrow for the Wild DCG. Reminded of his superb ride at the Nationals yesterday, David. Yeah, he did some really nice stuff. Neil needs help. Neil needs help. Oh, don't do the klaxon, mate. It hurts. It really does hurt. Yep. So, Neil is attempting to bridge across the gap and get himself back up. You've got some bodies on the way, Neil, and you're running into the climb, so you've got a good chance here. So Neil from Gritty, I think, has fixed the issue. He's back to his more traditional time trial, is 75 revs per minute. But he's on a bit of a mission. So it's like Kieran's going to drop back. I'm not sure who else is feeling strong. Greg, you feeling strong, Mr. Booker? Let's have a check. So Neil at 4 watts per kilo, going to be burning some serious matches up here. So Neil about 13 seconds down on the group. I think Mr. Hagger is going to be heading back for our bus at those watts per kilo. And that bus is rolling along at a fair old pace, to be fair. It's just sub 3 watts per kilo on the front of there. Here we go. Neil trying to push it to get back in. He's currently 15 seconds down. You can see the gap he's opened up on that red beacon. Come on, mate. Get some gritty grit going. So here we go. Time for some gritty grit. Now we are going to have an amazing guest. I'm not going to let the cat out of the bag of who we've got. Let's just say we're going to have a world champion on a current world champion, in fact, on the next episode of the Crosscast, if all goes to plan. And really looking forward to that. Somebody who I have had the pleasure of talking to at events, at races, somebody who I've seen on TV, and going to be a world champ from Cross on the Crosscast, joining us as a guest host on the Crosscast, joining Neil and myself. We're going to be recording that next week, early in the week, so it'll probably come out. Might even listen to it himself on the trip down to the European studios later on in that week. I'm really looking forward to the recording. I'm not going to tell you who it is, Mr. Dunn. I know you're really good with your guesses. Neil is back at Jimmy. Yes, he is. He's back in the pack. But we're not going to tell you which world champ. Not going to happen. Now, the bus rolling along nicely. Sir Lawson and Mr. Langmead in. Neil saying thank you. They are so polite. Matt Nunn enjoyed this week's with Evie. Yes, we had Evie Richards and Gareth Richards on the last episode of the Crosscast. If you haven't listened to it, please do. And if you really enjoy it, don't forget Neil and I. It's another one of Neil and I's labour of love. It's a good job we do some stuff that actually earns us money every now and then. Because we do quite a lot of stuff that doesn't. Not only that, but we also kind of like really love getting the stuff out for you guys. So whether that is the Crosscast or the Chaingang, etc. Definitely a labour of love. But do you know what? The Crosscast really good fun, and recording with Evie was very, very entertaining. And you can download that. Basically, just click on to Spotify, Audible, basically any sort of podcast distributor, Google, etc. You can pick them up on. So whatever device you've got, you can get them on there. On Apple, on iTunes. Anybody use iTunes, Apple Music anymore? But yeah, just go on there, put in the Crosscast, Cyclocross podcast, and you can pick it up. Okay, that bit done. Next, let's see how our riders are rolling on at the moment. Our red beacon looking good. Rich going to have a good old workout today here. Got a nice gang going. You can see just making the way up here. Tom Crapper. Come on, Tom. We know you've got loads of powers. I know it was the Welsh Cyclocross Championships at the weekend. Just gone. See how Mr. Crapper's going. Maybe he's going to go for a launch himself through the pack later on. Neil tucked in nicely. Greg Pillsworth in here, Jason Stevens, looks like Mr. Grant here, Sadler, Gale, Wimbold, Lindley's in here, Tom Elliott in here. Look, Tom's doing, he's not on the form, he has been previously, be interested to see how he's going. Mr. Elliott, good to have you back with us, buddy. Tom saying hi. Good to have you back aboard, buddy. Good to have you back in. So, let's see how those riders are rolling. Looking good at the moment. Oh. Caroline Forget turned on the iPad 10 minutes ago and it connected to his trainer and then suddenly he was out. That's not good. Damon Klein, a bit much change here. Beaumont before the rails can be done. Do need to learn how to change gear a little bit smoother though, mate. If you're braking your chain and bending it, you might have immense power. It means you're just being a bit ham-fisted, Damon. Come on, show some finesse, mate. The new mechanic error. Blame the mechanic. There you go. On to the descent we go. Group looking pretty snug together at the moment. Just in with Mr. Sadler on the descent. So just one rider pinging off the front. I think got the advantage of a crazy power. An interesting point from Jimmy Allen. Interesting run into the finish this. I would agree. You should do with Jimmy's assessments, I have to say. Going to be very interesting to watch how you go through. Anvil on this descent will be very, very interesting. Solo attack territory could well be. 20k for Dr. D underneath the wheels. Mr. Wilson the same. So just over 20k covered with 36 minutes, 53 seconds in at the moment, 54. So the time ticking along. I think any power up on here could well help. Personally, I think wherever you are on here, even if you've got a feather, you see, you could use it on the climb up, because it's not that far from the climb to the descent and across that top. I think, to be honest, with those twin sprints, it gives some quite nice opportunities to gauge some power ups on the way through. Very interesting to see what people go for. So in with Eddie Dench. Eddie, I hope you've recovered from your gymnastics off the bike at the cattle grid. Don't think I've ever seen anybody do that for a long time. Go flying sideways off at the cattle grid, but Eddie managed to do so. Jump onto his feed, onto social media if you haven't seen that, and then give him some help. Now Jimmy Allen getting the giving out the get ready. That's interesting. At 38 minutes, we're at what is going to be 3 laps to go. We're at half distance, only at half distance at the moment. This is going to be a long one into our lap numbers. So here we go. Go, go, go has gone. The go, go, go has gone. We're riding in with Eddie Dench. Has Eddie got the power to get himself up there? Just watching those numbers at the moment. He's not lifting enough here, I don't think. I think we're going to have to see who has got some serious pace and power. A little bit nearer to the front. We jumped in with Mr. Hatton. We said that Tom was back with us once again as well. And do you know what? He's a rider who should be up here. So Eddie powered by ibuprofen. Ibuprofen is my friend too. It was amazing for me. Doesn't work amazing for everybody. Emma's quite the reverse. Be the first thing they test for if she drops down brown bread, I think, one way or another. Now, in with Simon Oxenham on the way through. This is going to be very interesting. We are at 39 minutes. We've not even hit 40 minutes in total. Remember, we are at halfway in terms of laps. We've still got 3 full laps to go. The button has been pressed by the very mean and nasty Wolf today, and it means that we are shedding bodies across the course. If we take a bit of a zoom out, I'm going to try and go out far enough to be able to get a decent view back of the riders. You can see the gaps are opening up big style here. I think you need better shades than even Oakley's to be able to say back. I think I certainly want rose-tinted ones just to make it feel a bit less painful. Our riders up on to the climb. Sir Mr. Clayton tucked in here. Question will be, is he going to go on the attack early here? Is he going to take someone out? Isaac Oliver very attuned to that. Let's see what he's got to do. Now, Isaac Oliver is the man who's been trying to match Clayton previously. Clayton on the climb, Oliver sitting on his wheels, but I think this is a bold move by Mr. Clayton today. Damien going early. He's got 3 laps to do, 3 times up this climb, and you can see behind the amount of riders in trouble. Isaac Oliver, Phil Oliver, you got Dale Williams, Tom Lindley, Simon Oxenham, looks like Greg Booker, looks going to be like Tom Hepton, Paul Simonite, Sam Emsley, Dominic Watts, I think going to be chasing here. But I tell you something, Clayton at the moment with Oliver, Williams, Lindley, Oxenham, Elliott, that would be a nasty group, a great group to take clear. At the moment, it looks like it's both Olivers as well as Williams and Clayton. But Clayton is pushing on still, and I think he's going to do a little bit too much damage. We're about to take that left-hand turn, as you can see. As we watch Damien Clayton at the moment, he's kicking 500 watts out. He's putting a gap into Dale Williams, a gap into Isaac Oliver. But remember, we've got that long, flat section across the top. where our riders can pick up power-ups, and then we've got that big descent where it's going to favour a group. A little bit further back, the Yellow Beacon group riding together. Jimmy and all of the gang looking to keep snug in pursuit. And I think the initial chasers are going to find themselves in trouble, and they're going to get chased here. So I think they need to hold fire at the moment. So Booker, Oliver, Williams and co continue to push. Booker looking to get across this gap. You can just see them behind, but it is currently Damien Clayton who's got the gap. But that Yellow Beacon's not far behind. You can see that pillar of light. This is now about getting yourself in gear, get in the pace, get a rhythm going, and get that pace held nice and high in that group. You can see that Clayton now up into the flatland section, that flatter sprint section across the top. It's quite a long sprint section, but Clayton at the moment looking pretty good here. Look at Booker. Booker has come across the gap immediately behind, and that is a very interesting move indeed here. So Booker is on the heels there of Damien Clayton. He's got the faster time through that sprint as well, 22.15. They take that jersey away. That is the speed and the pace that they're going. Now, can Greg stay clear with Damien? They're going to be on to the descent. That gap, it is it's looking reasonably good at the moment. So they're on to that descent. You can just see that Booker with a 22.15, a 22.72 for Damien Clayton, 23 for Kieran there. But you look at the gap, 20 seconds from our chasing group. Oliver's just clear at the moment. Clayton just started to open a little bit more of a gap yet again. And Booker has been distanced after Booker jumped straight up onto the wheels. Damien Clayton on in the descent has continued to power onwards and open up the gap. He wants this solo. Not sure whether or not anybody's going to make it back to Clayton now. He's gone early. If these guys all work together, this should be a half-decent bunch to get it back. I mean, look at the numbers we've got here, and look who is in this group. You've got riders like Tom Elliott in here. You've got Watts in here, Osman, Crapper, Oliver, Nelson, Simon I. You've got the Wolf himself. You've got Jimmy Allen in here. And you can just see, I think that's Oxenham who's pulled the anvil out. He has indeed, Oliver and Oxenham both with anvils. And it means they've just opened a little bit of a gap. The group needs to just use this power up as well. It's a benefit to them as well if they can stay in the slipstream. And it will allow them then to continue to push on and in. The men they want. Well, Greg Booker is 27 seconds up the road. Damien Clayton, some 37 seconds up the road. And at the moment, the man who is burning up the road, he's just directly below the riders above him. It's Damien Clayton weaving his way down. He'll get 2 laps to go when he hits the line this time. The question will be, can anybody pull him back? The nearest man is Greg Booker, but he's 14 seconds down. Yep, 14. He made contact over the top, but that push all the way up and over the top, absolutely critical. Now, Jimmy Allen putting out, find a group, grab a group quick. You can see this leading group working well behind the Yellow Beacon group. This is group number 2. I'll tell you something, if group 2 and group 1 get together, that is going to be a formidable powerhouse chasing down our leaders. It may well be that Group 2 and Group 1, this could benefit both sets of riders here. Look at the distance between them. We're talking 3 or 4 seconds. And then they can go marching off after our leader. This could be a really interesting move. If they make contact behind them, it's 19 seconds back. That's too far for the riders behind this group to get back together. But you can see on the map at the top, groups 1 and 2 are coming together. I think Booker is going to get closed down as well. But our leader, well, he's just up the road here. And it could well be that if this group work together, they're going to pull him back. So, huge regrouping here of group 1 and 2. And this is where the riders need to now not play silly what's this. If you sit on this group, you ain't going to get him. It's real simple stuff. You are chasing Damien Clayton. And if you're all across the road, Clayton is going to go underneath the banner. Here we go. So Clayton goes underneath. Clayton can see the yellow beacon behind. Look at this. The beacon's in sight. It's 20 seconds to the beacon, 19 to the front of that group. You've got 2 laps to go, guys. And I'll be honest, with the volume of riders, you need to give yourselves a kick in if you don't get him back. I know it's Damien Clayton. I know he's absolutely class on wheels. He's an absolute machine as well. But he is catchable. This is doable. And you know what? It could well be the case. If you work together, you'll get him. But if you're over the full width of the road, it's a surefire sign that he is starting to pull out a gap. Because remember, this man is solo. And he is picking his line. He doesn't get any assistance on the way round. So riding in with our leaders, this is all about making sure you go after this man in front. He's doing 5.3. You need to take turns at 5+ watts per kilo. If you're not doing turns at 5 watts per kilo, you are not going to get him. It's that straightforward. You need turns of 5 watts per kilo. At 5 watts per kilo, you will close down the leader. If you ain't doing 5, you're all racing for first loser. In fact, look at that, 6.7. He's up to his game. Might have to revise that statement. Harry Hudson on the front. He's doing nearly 5 watts per kilo. Now, you guys you've got to push. He's dropped down 4.8, 4.66, 0.2. He's yo-yoing. So 5 watts per kilo minimum to hold that gap down. But remember, there's volume. You don't need to do a long turn. You just need everybody to do a turn in that chasing group. If you don't do a chase, if you don't do a turn in that chase group and you're hanging on the back, you're not going to get it back. You need to get a little turn. No matter how small that turn is, you need to get that turn in. If you're not doing them, you aren't going to get him. You could pull this back, guys. Come on, let's get this done. Let's get after him. That Pro Jersey, 16 seconds at the moment. This is doable, but you've got to keep pulling. You can't afford to let that gap go. The yellow beacon is coming. The question is, can they get him? Remember, we've got 2 laps to go. They've got to get him back. They're going to have to mob him, and then they can think about mugging him on the way up and over the top. Good luck with that one, but at least try and get him back. Now, gap yo-yoing again, 23 seconds. The chase behind, we're seeing work done by Hudson. Looks like Lindley's got up there. Hepton's in there. Jimmy Allen in there. Tom Elliott in there. It should be a who's who. If the guys aren't working in that group with you, just don't worry about it. You can't afford to think about it. If you sit up and leave the guys alone, it's not going to be there. Anyone who should be doing the work, I think, is, to be fair. I think anyone who's got any kind of power is up there, and you've got to get the gap back, guys. 22 seconds at the moment. Clayton is holding you on this ascent, and you've got a chance on that descent if you don't let the gap go too far. Here we go. This is the chasing group. You've got to be in there. The gang should move faster for less watts per kilo. It's that straightforward. You've got to put the power down, though. You're moving. Look at the pace. 33 kph there here for the guys. If we look at Clayton, 30 kph, 31. He's doing more watts per kilo. He's going slower. He's on a very similar part of the course now. Let's see who is going to do the work. Lindley, Simonite up here. Jimmy Allen is doing work. Dale Williams doing his work as well. Greg Booker up there. Sam Emsley, Oliver. Come on, guys. This is where it's going to count. If they're weak, they'll drop off the back. They won't be able to hold this kind of pace. You'll shed the weaker riders. I don't think anybody's taking a soft turn at the moment. I think everybody's just hanging on for grim death. What's the gap going to be as you go over the top? 19 seconds at the moment. Now, Clayton's on this steeper section here. This is going to bring the physical distance down. It means that yellow beacon can help close in, but Clayton coming up over the top now. Ah, the beacon's coming. Do you know what? I just saw a sight of it there behind him. You can just see it's coming up behind. 20 seconds is the gap. Has Clayton gone too early? He could have had company with Booker. He's maybe ruined the fact that he has abandoned him behind. So Clayton's going to be in that time trial zone. He's going to be putting his foot down, trying to hold them off. The group behind need to up the game. 4.5 watts per kilo, guys. It ain't enough. You need to push It might have got flat. That's what your gears are for. Stick it in a bigger gear and get that thing mullered after that leader, or you ain't going to be seeing him again. You can't soft tap. You can't leave it to the yellow beacon because you're not going to get there. 26 seconds again as you go through, and it looks like Jimmy Allen doing all the work on the front at the moment. The guys behind need to pull their socks up, get them all non-UCI legal and get after them, unlike Jimmy's socks, which seem to have disappeared into the ether on that climb. So let's see how many riders can pull on the way over the top. I mean, it really is a who's who of riders in here. You've got to be pushing, though. If you're not pushing, you're not helping on the front, you're going to find yourself in trouble when you get on the way down, because you know what? You're not going to close the leader. You're going to be fighting for second place. Clayton onto the descent now. This is where the group will have a massive advantage. And guess what? He's just gone and chucked in a ghost. Ain't going to work at the moment. That's your view of Damien Clayton. He's going to reappear like magic. Oh, look, there he is. And he just comes back in again. Well, that was really good news for the riders. They know that he got a really poor power up for going on a solo attack. Everybody knows where you are. They know you're off the front, but look at the difference in time. 38 seconds. 38 seconds. And why is that? Because you know what? He's used the power-ups right on the way down now. Chopping on the front, just using the anvil for that descent. The rest of the group needs to get into the wheels and use the advantage that's in there. So they're using an anvil after anvil. That is really good move. So they're using one after the other. So Dale put us one in next. So you can just see Chopping using his. Then it's going to be Dale Williams. They're using them in conjunction with each other. So they're basically trying to go through. So this is real key. So Williams has put one in. He's using it on the downhill. They're using this to good effect. They're working together. A really smart move to use this. So they've got to be really tough on this. They've got to really pull this out. They are going to come back at him. The question will be, what can they do about the one and only Damien Clayton? Clayton is working hard here. You can tell he is. His heart rate, though, at 166. I think he's got a little bit of spare. He's recovered on this downhill a little bit. So here we go, two for Mr. Langmead and Dave Robertson. It's 5 for the leaders on the front of this group, minimum, to try and get after Clayton. They're working well, though. I'll tell you something, there's going to be some new PBs surely set at the end of tonight. There's going to be some new power performances for our riders as they come through, because this is a tough day at the office. They're on the chase. They're trying to pull the gap back. They have to work hard to get the group back up to Clayton. Now, the gap behind it open behind this big pack of riders, and currently 15 seconds. This is group number 2 who couldn't stay with that pace. Include Neil in there. Looks like John Pearson, Nick McDermott a little bit further back, Vin Donahoe, Tracy Seeley and co, Rob Wimble. Everybody finding groups out on the road. The question is, which group can you jump into? So let's see who's got anything left. Are there any more power-ups they can use to help them? They're across the road again, and I think the pace has gone out a little bit. I think there's a lack of enthusiasm. There shouldn't be. 13 seconds, guys. 13 seconds. We look back from him. That's the yellow beacon behind. So you've got a chance as you come down to the line. Remember, he'd gone out to 38. He's down at 13 seconds to Mr. Hudson. 12 to Hudson at the moment. So if you can pull hard, you've got a chance. Remember, as he goes into the straight, up onto the climb, the physical distance will come down unless he's got something in reserve. 10 seconds to Hudson, 13 to Williams at the moment. Are we going to spoil it on there? So it is front, 1 lap to go for our race leader. It is Damien Clayton. Let's not pretend it's a proper race. We say it isn't. We know it is once that go happens. At the moment, it is Damien Clayton who's got that lead from Hudson, Williams, Elliott. It's down to single digits, guys. Hudson's got it at 9 seconds. 9 seconds. Come on, let's get after him. We've not even done an hour's riding yet here today. You can do some more. We're not all that far from the finish. We know it's only a short lap. Clayton trying to stay clear. He's trying to save something, but that heart rate is going back up again. It had gone to 166. It's back up to 171. So at the moment, Clayton is having to work. That heart rate is going up. The chase is on behind, and they need to work together. It's no good just leaving it to one or two riders. You've got to chase hard here, guys, or you're not going to pull him back. So it looks to me like they've got one or two riders within spitting distance. We're just going to try and jump in with Clayton. 9 seconds, guys. 9 seconds. This is more than doable. If you bury yourselves, you can get after this man. Chop it on the front at the moment. Remember, guys, if you're one long line, you're not making the most of the draft. Big differences from front to back of a pack. If you're not on the front, you want to be a bit further back. If you're on the front, you need to be pushing, and you need to be pushing hard. Clayton's just gone hard here. He's got one lap to go. I think I've just seen Clayton go up the road at 8 watts per kilo. He has, so he's upped his game here. Booker knows that on this climb, he's got a chance to come across. Look at the res, 108 res per minute from Greg Booker. On his heel is Lindley. Then it's going to be Oxenham, Oliver, Hepton, Watts, Williams. Now is the time to push, guys. Grab that time back on him. This is where you've got to be able to work. You can see this chasing group need to pull this out. Come on, Thomas. Do a big old turn here. Come on, Tom. This is where it's going to count. Everybody is having to push here, or they are going to lose ground on Clayton. Remember, they almost had him back on the way through as they came down through the inside. Can they do the same again? But this time, grab him back before he hits that line. What have people got left? They're leaving people in the debris, the detritus behind. They are dropping bodies off the back of this group as people give absolutely everything to stay with it. They've got to keep on pushing. If you see those numbers drop, we know that it's going to go. So our red beacon, Mr. Robertson, just seeing Damien Clayton coming on his way in through at the moment. Going to take a little bit drop down to Rich Langmead, our red beacon, who sees him go through. Booker in pursuit here. So Booker and Lindley got a little bit of a gap on that yellow beacon group behind. They've got to push. They've got to try and close it down. It's 11 seconds. Remember, as they came over the top last time, the maximum lead was 34. It was at 23 the entry to the straight. It was 38 on the descent, down to 13 on the way out. And that is why it's so critical to keep pushing. Now, Booker and Lindley have been launched off the front of this group, but this group is not taking it easy. Sam Emsley at the moment on the front. Phil Oliver, Tom Hepton, Dale Williams, Paul Simonak, Tom Crapper, Don Watson. Everybody needs to push. This is where they need to keep that pressure on. Simon Oxenham in this group. Nelson's in here as well. Mr. Osman, good to see you, sir. Flipping heck, he's on a ride today. Can he make this count as he goes down and in? They're really pushing the way up here. We're still doing 26 kph at the moment, but you've got to keep that pace high, guys. You need to get up and after Clayton, who is 16 seconds to the fore, and Lindley 24 to Oxenham. He's on to the straight now. What power-ups has he got left? Is he saving something for that? He said he had a ghost last time on the descent. That yellow beacon's looking an awful long way behind at the moment. It says it's 30 seconds. You can just see as he's come over the top. Damien Clayton has wound that up, and he really has opened up the gap to the riders behind. He went to a maximum of 34 seconds on the group, and you know what? It's at 34 seconds to the group, but we do have two riders in between in Lindley and Booker. Greg Booker, Tom Lindley, two younger riders who have a chance, but they've got to close down this man. Damien Clayton, who has played a blinder. The moment the go was enacted, he went, oh my goodness, did he go. He opened up one of the fastest leads we've seen for a long time, and then he's managed to maintain it. He's ridden smart, but they've got to get after him. He's on the descent now. He's at -5 on his way down here. So Clayton diving down. It's back here that he engaged that ghost last time. We've got Booker and Lindley, but I don't think they've got the power to get after him. They could be fighting for second and third place if this group don't bring them back. And that is more than possible because you can see them just in the distance as they come down here. So, looking like we are going to come down to the last few meters in that fight for second and third place. Not sure who's going to take the chase from behind. I can't see, and I'm going to be really honest, I just cannot see anybody pulling back Clayton now. I'm not going to say it's not doable, but I think it's going to take some minor miracle for the riders behind to pull this man back. He's absolutely nailing it. It's Damien Clayton in the lead at the moment. Then it's Lindley and Booker behind. Then it's Jimmy Allen. Look at the number of anvils that are in there. They've used them en masse to try and get some momentum rolling in that group. Well, they're doing 60 kph. The riders in front 55. Clayton's currently doing 60. On a similar descent, he's doing nearly 5 watts per kilo. Looks like Lindley has dropped Booker by using that anvil on the way down. Booker's about to get swept up, actually, if he's not careful by that group behind. Lindley's seen the danger of waiting at the moment, I think, on the way through here, and has currently engaged some serious power here to try and get back in touch with the riders in front, but I don't know that it's going to come to anything at the moment. Let's have a little look. You can just see 8 watts per kilo. Then it's 8 seconds back. It's going to be from Lindley up in front. It's 40 seconds up the road to Clayton now. Not sure that's doable by anybody. I don't think it can, no matter who we've got on the gang. That is a massive, massive ask. The yellow beacon coming around the turn, sandwiched in between it is the orange marmalade of Lindley. And I think Lindley going to see the group coming behind. He's putting a brave effort to try and close down our solo leader, but the group are coming. And I'm not sure Tom's going to have anything left. That was a brave chase. Here comes Damien Clayton, the #1 rider at the moment. He's on the course. He's leading out at the moment. He's at 39.8. He's not got all that far to go before he sees that gantry. It's a long view down this straight, though, and that gantry is a long way in the distance. I think he's got enough distance between him and the rest of the riders, so if he takes a look up, he's into the last 300 meters. He's got an aero for it as well. It's going to be a win here today. It's going to be for this man. It's going to be for Damien Clayton. He's done it again. He slipped his leash. He went clear. And as he comes in to the line, it's Damien Clayton who goes underneath. He takes the win behind the sprint. He's on. Oxenham's going. Williams has gone hard over the top here. I'm not even sure our camera can get in front of him. Here we go. Williams has got the gap. Booker is in second place. Nelson in third at the moment. They're going to hit this line as they come in. So Williams gets it from Booker, from Nelson, Hepton, Simonite, Lindley, Oliver, Osman, Oxenham. Watts goes through. I think it's going to be Forey just behind him. What a ride. House, Emsley, Elliott and Jimmy Allen following in. They've given it absolutely everything. Next group lining themselves up. Ian Bale, the man who rode so hard at the World Championships, is going to lead this out. He was on duty at the World Championships. He was racing on the mud. It was brutally quick at Ipswich. It's going to be quick here today. Who's got the sprint, though, out of this group going over the top? You can just see Neil from the Grass wants this. I think the most it's going to be Neil, then Ian, followed by Keith, Dean, and Mr. West Jason. It's going to be Eddie Dalglish, Simon Run It. I think in that order, Greg Pillsworth comes around the turn. It was a good old go trying to chase down Damien Clayton, but my goodness, that man has got some serious speed in his legs this week. So Damien Clayton led them in. Greg Pillsworth's going to be our next rider coming in to the line. About 40 odd seconds back, Harry Hudson after doing a monstrous turn to try and close down Clayton. I think his legs shattered. They didn't just blow, they went pop, big style. Right. So chopping behind him is going to be Hudson, then it's going to be Dixon. And then it's going to be the group from Donahue who are going through. We've got sandwiched in between our red beacon as well. At chopping, I think, just coming round here going, do you know what, my legs are dead. I don't care what you do now. Knock yourselves out, guys, because my legs are in pieces. He had chased with that leading group for a long time. Next up is going to be Dixon. So Will Dixon into the last 300 metres here behind Harry Hudson. Simon Chopin as well, all just in pieces, I think. Steve Wilson, Tracy, Chris and the gang on the way in. So here we go. Last little sprint from Will. Nice one, buddy. Good ride. Then it's going to be Nick McDermott. McDermott's just going to take this from Rowan Dubash. Then it's going to be Sharp group just coming through ahead of Wilson. Rich looks like Gail Vinn in there. Rick Dixon, all that. Tracy Seeley coming in and through. Great riding by Tracy once again. Simon Chopin finishing going through the line. Rich Langmead going out on another lap. Harry Hudson. Harry, well done, buddy. He put in an absolutely storming chase and they did a whole load of work. But not to be today. But that's the man with the bright future who we know has got a lot of power in his legs. As has this man, Kieran Brown, whose job is all done and dusted. So our next rider going to be in is going to be Craig Forrester. Craig's going to come in ahead of Mr. Davidson, I suspect. So in ahead of Marty Davison. Good ride, Marty. Then it's going to be John Garford, James Forbes and Paul Malin, I think, in that next group. But Mick Clark coming through. Zach Hutchinson, Mantis going through. Then it's going to be the Main and Hilbert duo. So just taking a little bit of a look. It is going to be Mr. Sadler next. So Chris Sadler going to be our next finisher. So Chris goes in through the line. Then it is going to be Doug Main. So Doug goes through, followed by Rob Wimble and Chris Hilbert going through. Sorry, Stephen Hilbert going through. Haven't called Stephen Chris for a long time. Dave Faulting goes in over the finishing line. Then it's going to be Adi Dench and Neil Morn, the pair of Stellarton riders coming through basically together. I think Adi's an honorary Stellarton. Come on, let's face it, you guys go riding together often enough. So they're going to go in and through the line. They're going to be just ahead of Sarah Luthwaite. Luthwaite going to be the second of our female riders. Don't forget, of course, we have the WOW DCG tomorrow. That is going to be on an absolutely storming course. Really looking forward to that because it's on one of our staples of the Chaingang. That is the course that is the Greater London Flat. So the WOW DCG tomorrow on Greater London Flat. Going to be really interesting to see how that rides with the group. So next rider through the line here on the DCG on Tuesday is going to be Sarah Luthwaite. Sarah goes in underneath the gantry. And then it's going to be Steve Catlin. Catlin being chased by Chris Canham. Steve Cannon. It's going to be Said behind as Hutton and Mason as well. Nice group of riders chasing. So that's going to be this group, which is the lone rider group. Look at this, nice pack of riders here, actually. And I think you can see here Chris Ball just dropping towards the rear of that group. Jason Stevens in here as well. Bobby Mason in the pack. And this group riding in nicely together. By nicely, we don't mean holding hands. We mean keeping that power nice and steady. So here we go, sprint coming up. It's going to come from Chris Canham. So Canham is going to be the rider who's going to take this out. We just about get our cameras in front. Here we go, just in front as he goes in underneath the gantry. So Canham, then it's going to be Stevens and Bobby Mason. Not sure who got that, you guys will have to let us know. Looks like Sad coming in along with the rest. So Leo Sad going in ahead of Steve Cannon, Chris Ball. I think Lowe probably going to be our next rider on the course, just dropping down the chute down into the finish, coming down in and around the back. Just kind of getting a cramp on the way, so we never want that to happen. So good riding by that group in front with Leo Sad, Das Hutton, Lone Rider, Chris Canham, Jason Stevens, Chris Ball, along with Steve Canham, Bobby Mason. What a cracking group. Then it's going to be Chris Lowe, who's on our screens at the moment. He's ahead of Carl Briggs. Then it's going to be Dave Lee, Mark Grant, and Mr. G on the way behind him. And then it's going to be Rich Langmead, who's continued to push his way around the loop. I've been working hard today to keep everybody moving on the way into the finish, but we're going to just jump in with Chris, who's just about to take that left-hand turn onto the finishing straight. So great to see these groups working together, getting everybody in to the finish. Really key for the riders to work as a group on that course, and I think that's an absolutely cracking course. I'm not sure the riders necessarily all agree with that, but I definitely think so. I think it's absolutely brutal, but absolutely brilliant, all in one go. So here we go, Chris coming up to the gantry. Well done, Chris. Job done. Time to spin those legs out. Behind is Carl Briggs. Carl on his way down the hillside here, dropping down on his way in. So whilst Carl makes his way in, a couple of bits of housekeeping. Don't forget, it is 1080 week. Month. Week. That's last year. 1080 month. All the way through December, we've got a giveaway of 3 pairs of custom Oakleys going out to members of the DCG gang. The shut-off will be in the middle of the month. At that point, there'll be no more memberships sold, and that will be basically job done. We won't be rewarding anybody who joins after that until we get into January, and that's quite simply to give you the benefit. Make sure you join at the start of the month. Try and keep the admin down to a minimum. Please, guys, remember, if you've got the money to spare, I know things are tight, it's coming into Christmas, then please do donate for the month. Jump in and then we can reward you. It's not just, of course, our giveaways, it's also our fantastic discounts. 20% off Gritty, 20% off OTE, extra discount with 1080, 20% off Erskine, 10% off Halo, Nonners and Continental, all looking after our riders as well during the course of the season. So please do make sure that you jump on and donate if you can. Now, next rider on his way round those turns, it is Carl Briggs, who's making his way in through underneath that little overhanging rock arch, underneath the kites flying up in the sky alongside the shoreline here. And Carl's going to be our next rider, and he should be able to if we can spin it around. Here we go. The last 300 metres as he heads in towards the line here. So Briggs on his way in to that finish. Going to be another case of job done, another line crossed, another course completed for a lot of our riders. I'm sure plenty of people have not been on here. And don't forget, of course, we're Greater London tomorrow, and we're heading across to another of the brand new routes next Thursday. Our next rider in is going to be Dave Lee. So Dave coming in and across the line. Well done, Dave. Good ride. So Dave comes in. He finishes his ride here. Then it's going to be Mark Grant. Grant just coming into those final few turns. So Grant keeping those revs rolling as he comes in. You can just see 150 beats per minute, 250 watts just kicked out there. He's going to take that left-hand turn. The nearest rider to him, Sonny G, behind, just coming around the long right-hand turn. But Mark going to see the gantry. Here we go, 300 metres. It's a long sprint from that run. In fact, 350 metres it is coming in this direction, so you've got a long run at it. But here he comes, going to be hitting that final marker, that last kick when you know you're not going to need it to sit back down again. I think coming just as you hit that change of tarmac. But Mark comes in and through, next to rider in and done on the Chaingang, and that is going to have our next rider coming round the turns. That is Persona G heading in to the finish. He's the penultimate rider ahead of our red beacon, who's been back busy keeping people motivated as long as you can to keep on the way through. And got to say a big thank you to everybody who's been out on the Chaingang tonight. So here we go, over the pedestrian crossing, lining up for the gantry goes our next rider. And it's about that last little kick into the line now. What's left in the tank, the revs going up to 100, 101, 102. So keeping them spinning on the way in. So it's going to be the line that comes into sight. Another rider in and home, and doing a great job finishing it here on the Chaingang. And that means that our last rider out on course is this man. it is our red beacon. So whilst Rich Langmead heads into the finish, quick reminder, make sure you get signed up. Make sure you sign up for the WOW DCG. If you're going to ride tomorrow, we've got a cracking route. It is Greater London Flat. It's one of our staple routes. Don't forget, of course, support the people who support your sport. They're up there. Gritty, OTE, 1080, Nonnas, Velo Skin, Halo, and Continental, and discounts on all those if you are a member of the DCG gang. And as one of the supporters who regularly donates, if you can't afford that, don't forget, every donation helps. Really do appreciate that, and it does make a big difference to Russ and myself in terms of keeping the cost down for running the chain gang. And basically, we don't get the gang members, you ain't going to get a gang. Job done. Real simple. So, here we go. Our lost rider on his way into the line is one of our amazing team of red beacons. They are absolutely fantastic, along with all of our yellow beacons on the WOW DCG, as well as the riders who, of course, are Russ and Jimmy, are yellow beacons for the DCG. Got to say a massive thank you to everybody who's taken a turn as a beacon, and of course particularly to our red beacons. They have an unenviable task. They yo-yo the way backwards and forwards, dragging people on and off, talk to as many as they can, motivate them, keep them rolling. So a big thank you to everybody who is on red beacon duty. So over the line goes Rich Langmead. Thank you, Rich. Really appreciate it. Don't forget, you can catch up with us. We have got the WOW DCG. That's coming your way tomorrow. Same time, same place, same studio even. Makes a change. We're going to be doing the same again on Thursday. 3 shows in a row from the same studio. God, what's going on? Then we're going to take a little bit of a break. We will be back. We are covering esports on Sunday with Cycling Esports coming out to you on the YouTube stream as well. Follow our social media for that. That is at Full Speed Events, at Matt Fixerpaint, and at Biking Emma. Looking forward to putting words to the action to that. And then we'll be back with the Chain Gang next week as well, all part of the 1080 month here on the Chain Gang. Don't forget, get signed up, get riding. Don't forget, of course, support the people who support your sport. Without these guys, we can't look after the members, and without the members, we don't get a gang. Thank you so much to everybody who's helped out so far. We are going to be back tomorrow. So from me, Matt Payne, from Jimmy, our Wolf, our Beacon, as always, setting an entertaining go, and from Rich and Russ and everybody on the Chain Gang, stay safe. We'll see you again next time. Bye-bye.